I want everyone to know that I took an oath to the Constitution, to the rule of law, to New Yorkers, and that's what I do each and every day. My response is, it's baseless. Listen, Donald Trump is on a revenge tour, and he finally got up to the J's. And so it's my time. I will not bow. I will not break. I will not bend. I will, again, march into this office with all of the individuals who stand by my side, all 800 attorneys, again, defending the Constitution, defending the rule of law, and standing up for New Yorkers and all individuals who believe in our system of government.
Well, it's really interesting because this is being blown up all over the place. And, with Letitia James, these people just merely project to people, against people, what they are doing. They blame them, like Donald Trump, when in fact they are doing it in the background. And this fraud that happens, if the fraud bubbles up and there's documentation, there's records showing that she has committed fraud, and I know there are allegations, but if these ring true, then it's just going to expose something that's going on the inside of the banking system, because a lot of people don't realize the mortgage fraud going on against the people. So we've got bad actors that are such as Letitia James, who's committed all this fraud. How does that even happen? I mean, how does that even get allowed? This has been going on for over 2 decades with this lady. And it seems that she, touts the law, but she doesn't follow it herself. It's rules for thee and not for me.
Let me ask about, how those consequences could cascade. When people commit mortgage fraud, is it typically just to get better rates on their money?
I think obviously people try to dip into doing things that are considered illegal, right? And I was in property management for 26 years. That's what I did. So I dived into a lot of the things that were going on in the background. And I'm really surprised. I was the HUD director of my company before I got into the fight for our children and got into this whole thing about systemic bank fraud. But we have people, again, on both sides of the spectrum. Letitia, here she is, doing this to benefit herself, when we have people suffering right now due to actual mortgage fraud going on by the banks themselves. So it seems to be like there's bank fraud going on with the actual banks. We've got people in the system that are committing fraud, and it's just like nobody cares. They just allow these things to take place, and the projection is getting very old from these people who continue to come against us in the system. And so I'm always telling people that it's time that we get to the truth, and the truth is going to set us free. And there is so much fraud going on both sides. So I think
on the lender and the borrower side. And I get that there's a lot of advocacy around that lender fraud. And perhaps that's where a lot of the focus is on enforcement. But here, this is on the borrower side. Hammer of justice is coming. This time, perhaps for Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, who wrongly prosecuted the Trump Organization. Attorney General James is now the subject of a criminal referral from the Federal Housing Finance Corporation, which regulates Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. It's the government entity overseeing that at HUD. Now, allegedly, in 2023, as she was attempting to prosecute President Trump's organization in New York, General James was claiming in mortgage documents that a home she was buying in Norfolk, Virginia was her primary residence. Sweet Virginia! The Attorney General of the Empire State claiming to be a citizen of the Commonwealth? Why would she do this? Did she know that a statewide office holder in New York can't live in Virginia? Well, there's a financial element. If you claim a home as a primary residence, you get a friendlier mortgage rate subsidized by the taxpayer. The irony of this is beyond delicious because Tish James went after Trump for allegedly inflating the value of his property to, you guessed it, get better rates. They always accuse us of the stuff they are doing. President Trump was not inflating the value of his property. James actually got a judge to agree that the famed Mar-a-Lago Club, one of the most exquisite assets in the world, the place where I met and engaged my wife, is worth a mere $25 million. In that case, I'll take 10 of them. But to Tish James, getting Trump was never about the facts or the law. It was about politics. questionable use of a bullhorn and politics aside, if you accuse someone else of lying on a form to get better rates on your money, you better not lie on a form to get better rates on your money. Tish James had hopes for running for governor of New York following the fall of Andrew Cuomo, which she played a major part in, but now it seems the fortunes are reversed. Andrew Cuomo is the leading contender to become the New York City mayor, and Tish James is facing a criminal referral and potentially federal criminal process.
We have a great guest tonight. Sam Antar is a forensic accountant who has a very colorful past we'll dig into here in a bit. He is the man that dug all of this up on Letitia James. He's the source of all this information. Sam, thank you so much for joining us here on the set.
Thank you for having me on, sir.
You're a New Yorker. You live right down the street, and this is some fantastic work here. I want to start and get into just the specifics first. Starting with this Virginia property that she claimed as her primary residence while she was, this is Norfolk, Virginia. This is probably a 5-6 hour drive, claiming it's her primary residence while she's the AG of New York. From your report, you say James signed a specific power of attorney declaring her intent to make 604 Sterling Street in Norfolk, Virginia, her principal residence, a legally binding statement that may have automatically vacated her position as New York Attorney General under Public Officers Law 30. A declaration that came just 45 days before she launched her case, her civil fraud case against Donald Trump. Tell us more about what happened in Virginia here.
She purchased a property with a relative. This is in 2023, a few weeks. She closed
2 years
on,
ago, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She closed on it right before the Trump trial. And in the filed documents with the county clerk's office, there was a power of attorney that she gave her cousin or niece to close the mortgage.
Yep.
And on the power of attorney, she represented that I intend to use this property as my primary residence. Now, there's two problems with that. The first problem is she lied on a power of attorney. Would anybody really believe that she was going to move to Virginia in the middle of the Trump trial? Second part is there's Section 6 of the mortgage that states that the borrower, meaning her and her niece, have to occupy the property as their primary residence within 60 days. Not one or the other, both.
Wow.
She at least never occupied it. Right. That's
and what was the motivation to do this? Why lie?
Lower interest rates.
Lower interest rates.
I'd call her a petty thief.
A petty thief. This is, this is, when you look at the allegations she made against Trump, is this act worse, better, same?
Well, no. Listen, Trump is not a real felon. I'm a real felon. Okay, so so Trump didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. You don't see anything wrong in the case you made against Trump? You think, obviously, the jury here thought that he did something wrong.
Well, listen.
It seems like what every developer has ever done.
You should have listened to the appellate arguments, because the appellate judges seem to be. It seems like they're going to write an opinion that's going to vacate the entire case.
Yeah. Boom. Okay. Yeah. It's because it obviously was. We were all astounded by what they charged him for. That penalty was ridiculous. I want to move on here. Let's talk about Brooklyn, New York. This is her actual main residence. She walked out of this house this morning, a townhouse she owns. It's a multifamily home. You discovered James has been claiming that her townhouse is a 4-unit dwelling when it actually has 5 units. Why would she do this?
To obtain lower mortgage rates. Again,
Same motivation.
If 1 to 4 units has different underwriting guidelines, and also insurance too, by the way, insurance fraud. Whereas if it's 5 or more units, it's considered a commercial property and also subject to different insurance guidelines.
Right.
She repeatedly lied because there's a certificate of occupancy that states that it's 5 units. And in New York, that rules. And it's unbelievable that that complaints were filed with the Department of Buildings, and they wrote it off as a minor problem, minor error. Where every other landlord in New York, if you pull that stunt,
right.
Illegal conversion, having a building that's different from the certificate of occupancy, they will fine you. They will make you alter the building.
She's flat out lying on these documents. She didn't deny anything about it. 1983, she takes out a $30,000 loan with her dad. She files it as a husband and wife. She's married to a father. Why?
First of all, that was discovered by Joel Gilbert, not me. I don't want to take credit for anybody's work.
Okay.
All right, that was 1983. What he found was that she bought the house as daughter and father and daughter, and then she when they did the mortgage, it was husband and wife. As husband and wife. Also, you get different underwriting as husband and wife than as you buy it as partners or two family members.
We have.
And now this is different from the Brooklyn home. This is a different property. I think it was in Queens.
In Queens, yeah. It was a long time ago. This is
Yes.
41 years ago, 42 years ago. We have allegations of flying private on taxpayer money, almost $42,000 to places like Martha's Vineyard, Puerto Rico. We have luxury hotels with mischaracterized on official filings. What can you tell us here?
Let's break it down. Between 2021 and 2022, she used private jets to get around, spent $42,000 of taxpayer money. The vendor she spent the money on was called Venture Jets. No other government agency, because the information is out there, back to 2014 ever used Venture Jets or for private jet travel, period.
Yeah.
Then in 2022, when the government stops paying for it, her campaign starts paying for it. Now, let's go back to this stuff that the taxpayers paid for. If you align the payments for the for Venture Jets and those trips, because you don't pay jet travel net 30 days, you pay it COD, cash on delivery.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of those trips align with major campaign events that she was attending. That's a problem.
That's a big. She has a lot of problems here.
Right.
It's unbelievable reporting. We've dug through. I think the bulk of the of what you have found. I believe. Real quick before I let you go, you have a past.
Yes.
And tell us how you got so good at what you just did with what I mean. You worked on this for 7 months. How'd you get so good at this?
Because I was a criminal for 20 years, and I was very good at doing what I did as a criminal. Morality aside,
yeah.
The FBI saw a talent in me, and they helped me out going forward after the Crazy Eddie case. The FBI taught me things. When I was being investigated, the FBI taught me how investigations are done. All of the beatings that the FBI gave me when I was doing crime made me into a better human being.
That's amazing. And you're just, you said you like to figure out puzzles. I
love puzzles. I love numbers. Listen.
Yeah.
This is not I am not the Trump administration. I don't work for the Trump administration. I did this on my own time and my own dime. And I don't give a damn what Trump does.
Yep.
I will hold it personally accountable.
That's all for today. Thank you. If you want global news to keep you up to date on any new developments, please subscribe our channel and forward our content with your friends on social media and email. Thank you very much for keep supporting me. Stay safe. Be blessed. Namaste.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.